What's up, you fantastic football fans, and welcome to the 2024 college football preview on Tim Reynolds Show. And man, we're going to get you guys hyped up and ready for the college football season this year, as there's a lot of new changes to go over with the season right around the corner. And we will tell you guys there's a lot of changes not only on the field but off the field, as we will see this upcoming year the college football playoff will be expanded from 4 teams to 12 teams, which means we are going to have one crazy season this year in college football. But we also heard news recently that the commissioners of the Group 5 conferences are looking to hopefully add an NIL tournament to college football. What we would see is sort of what you would see in March Madness or with the college basketball, where they have an NIL tournament right next to the NCAA tournament for the teams that cannot get into the actual tournament. In this case, for the teams that don't make it into the college football playoff, this would be a secondary tournament for those other teams that are left over in the rankings, I suppose. But this is an interesting proposition as the Group of 5 commissioners look to expand the fan base and expand the information and the money revenue to a bunch of schools, so that way it can expand not only the fan base but also the revenue streams that all of these schools will be able to get, whether they get into the college football playoff or not. Hopefully this NIL deal could be something in the future that works for a lot of other universities and a lot of other football programs. We're also seeing new rule changes on the field, as we will see 2-minute warnings in the first time ever for NCAA football games and college football around the season of 2024. And we will also see on the field for the first time helmet communications for players and coaches on the sidelines and on the field, as we have in the NFL. And we will also see up to 18 tablets on the sidelines for players to be able to review plays and coaches to be able to review plays and replays in real time to help them out during games, unlike they've ever had before. So no more of the signs. They'll have the helmet communications to be able to call plays, to be able to talk back and forth, and also be able to see replays and be able to study on the sidelines with those new tablets. This is cool to see college football advancing up to almost that pro style level with all the tools that we have with technology and everything. It's nice to see college football advancing this way. We will also see other sort of rule changes coming for the first time here for college football, as we will see them sort of focus more on the play of everybody, as it's going to really come down to what your record is at the end of the year. And we're going to give you guys sort of like a little preview of certain matchups to look forward to, because this is going to be the season where if you can go ahead and run off a lot of wins this year, maybe only have 1 loss at the end of the year or 0 losses, really it doesn't matter what conference you're in, you're going to be able to have a sort of discussion and a point as far as making the college football playoff. And man, I cannot wait to see what teams are going to come out of the woodworks this year and surprise everybody as being real contenders this year, man. And you can see I'm repping the Michigan Wolverines, the defending national champions, who are ranked number 8 this year in the start preseason poll there for the AP, as Michigan Wolverines look to defend their title. And also, man, I'm a big Florida Gator fan. You can see back there with the Florida Gators, man, they have one of the toughest schedules in the NCAA in all of college football Division I, man. So I'm really going to be rooting hard for them this year. And hey, we get started out with you guys. Let's talk about some of those week 1 particular matchups, because week 0 will give you guys a kind of primetime matchup in the ACC, as we will see Florida State, who's ranked number 10 in the country, taking on their AC foe, Georgia Tech, in this one. And this one will also be overseas, I believe, in Dublin, Ireland. And we'll also see in the first week of the season, we have some pretty good matchups of note to give you guys on starting Saturday, August 31st. We will see the Miami Hurricanes, who are ranked 19th, take on my Florida Gators, man, in the swamp. And to start out the season, we see the Gators with a big opponent to start out the season in Gainesville, and the Miami Hurricanes look to make a statement as they're ranked number 19 and hopefully take on the Florida Gators. What a good game to kick off the college football season. Then we will also see our first ranked matchup here on August 31st, as we would have the number 7 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the number 20 ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Then we also see Fresno State taking on the number 9 ranked Michigan Wolverines. We also have another ranked matchup, 2 ranked teams, 2 big programs for a huge opening week matchup, as we have the University of Clemson taking on the University of Georgia. Clemson's ranked number 14th in the AP poll, and Georgia's ranked number 1. So this is going to be probably the best last matchup of opening weekend versus ranked teams. We also have another few matches of note to go over here. As we see, Texas opens up the season against Colorado State in their first season in the SEC. And we also got some matchups like University of New Mexico taking on the 21st ranked Arizona Wildcats. And then we get started into the next week. September 1st, we will have the number 23rd ranked USC Trojans taking on the number 13th ranked LSU Tigers of the SEC. Whew, that's definitely going to be a big matchup, as we're going to see Brian Kelly and Luke Riley taking on each other one-on-one, as these head coaches are some of the best in college football. And we'll also end that week 1 on Monday with Boston College taking on Florida State in an SEC foe matchup there for opening week 1 there. And heading over to week 2, looking at those particular primetime matchups that we would really want to look forward to, we have BYU taking on SMU, as this will be SMU's first season in the ACC. We also see good matchups like none other than the Michigan Wolverines, ranked number 9, taking on the number 4 ranked team, the Texas Longhorns, in week 2. Notable matchups also to see and look forward to also in week 2, the South Florida Bulls taking on Alabama, who is ranked number 5 in the country. We'll also see Arkansas in the SEC taking on the number 17th ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. We'll also see some pretty good matchups this particular week, as we also have, let's see here, Iowa State taking on Iowa, who's ranked number 25th in the country. This is always a big rivalry game there for week 2. Looking down here at what else to look forward to in week 2, we also have some pretty decent matchups here. Let's see. We got Virginia taking on the University of Wake Forest there. That should be a pretty good matchup. We also have another battle of ranked teams, as we have the University of Tennessee, ranked number 15th in the country, taking on North Carolina State Wolfpack, who is ranked number 24 in the country in week 2. Man, that'll be a nice primetime game on Saturday night there for those two ACC foes. Oh, and then, man, another trap game, as Clemson really opens up the season with a tough schedule of theirs as well, as they will be taking on Appalachian State, but Clemson will be taking them on there at home, so hopefully they'll be able to pull off a victory there and what will be a tough matchup. We have Boise State Broncos. They will be taking on the Oregon Ducks, who are now in the Big Ten, so that'll be a really good matchup there in week 2. And then, of course, you got a couple of other pretty good games to look forward to, but another rivalry game here with Utah State taking on USC. And then we would see week 3. We'll have some other good matchups to go over here with you guys. In week 3 of the NCAA 2024 season, we will see another ranked matchup of the number 21 ranked Arizona Wildcats, the University of Arizona, taking on Kansas State University Wildcats, who are ranked number 18th in the country. That'll be a Friday night, September 13th, primetime game on Fox there of 2 ranked match teams there, which should be pretty good. We also have the number 7 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the University of Purdue, which is always a real tough matchup. We also see the number 20 ranked Texas A&M Aggies taking on the Florida Gators Saturday, September 14th in week 3. Man, some really, really good matchups here to look at this week. We also have the number 5 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide taking on the University of Wisconsin. Then we also have UCF taking on TCU, which is always a really, really good matchup to watch when these two go at it. You'll also have another really good rivalry game as Oregon, the University of Oregon Ducks will take on the Oregon State Beavers in week 3. That's always a really, really good game to check out. We'll also see in this particular week some other good matchups for us here. FIU, Florida International University, will be taking on their rivalry, Florida Atlantic University Owls. This should be a really, really good matchup to watch, especially for all the Florida football fans down there from my home state, man. Represent. And then we're looking here, man, just looking at the rest of the schedule. Colorado also takes on Colorado State that week 3, which is also a really, really good rivalry game to check out. So that'll pretty much wrap up the good matchups to see in week 3. Moving on to week 4 to give you guys some really good matchups to look forward to. We have the University of Miami ranked at number 19th. The Hurricanes taking on the South Florida Bulls there in Tampa. That's going to be a really good primetime matchup. And then looking down, we have another ranked matchup of two really good programs as USC, the Trojans, will be taking on the University of Michigan Wolverines as the Trojans, ranked number 23rd in the country, will be taking on the Wolverines in week 4 at 3:30 on CBS there, man. What a good game that's going to be. We'll also see another matchup versus ranked teams as the Utah Utes, ranked number 12th in the country, will be taking on Oklahoma State, the 17th ranked team in the country. We'll also see another big rivalry week game as it will be North Carolina State Wolfpack taking on the Clemson Tigers. Man, Clemson's really got a tough stretch opening up the season of these first 4 weeks. We also see the University of Tennessee Volunteers taking on the Oklahoma Sooners. The Volunteers are ranked number 15th in the country and the Sooners ranked number 16th. And this will be the Sooners' first year in the SEC with a tough matchup here week 4 against the Tennessee Volunteers. And looking up, we got the University of Arkansas against Auburn, which is always a really good matchup there, rivalry kind of matchup there in the SEC. And then looking at the rest of the schedule, we're not seeing too many more big matchups to really go over here. No really good ranked teams facing up against each other. So that'll be it for week 4. Heading over to week 5, we have some pretty good matchups here with kicking off with the Miami Hurricanes taking on the Virginia Tech Hokies, and that'll be always a really good ACC matchup there. And then looking on, you got Ohio State, ranked number 2, taking on Michigan State Spartans, which is always a tough matchup for them, it seems like, although Michigan State has not been good for the past few years. And then we also have the Arizona Wildcats, the University of Arizona, taking on the Utah Utes in another ranked-on-ranked match here as the number 21 ranked team, Arizona Wildcats, take on the 12th ranked Utah Utes. We also see Stanford versus Clemson. Man, Clemson's got just as about a brutal of a schedule as the Florida Gators do, it seems like. We also got Oklahoma at Auburn, and then another ranked versus ranked matchup with Oklahoma State taking on Kansas State. That should be a really good game there in week 5. We also see further down, we're looking to see if there's any more. We got New Mexico against New Mexico State, so another good rivalry game there to look out and look forward to here in week 5 of the 2024 NCAA football season. We also will that week, I'm pretty sure game day is going to be at this one, guys. We're going to have the number 1 ranked University of Georgia Bulldogs taking on the University of Alabama Crimson Tide, man. That's going to be a good primetime matchup at night, and that'll be pretty much week 5 there, getting you guys really hyped up and ready for the season. Already halfway through, man. There's some really good primetime matchups to look forward to this season. All right, we're going to try to go a little bit quicker here on some other ones, try to stick to maybe sort of the ranked teams to look out for too. The Iowa Hawkeyes will take on Ohio State in week 6. That'll be a really good matchup of two ranked teams. Clemson, again, taking on another ranked foe in Florida State Seminoles. That's going to be a big matchup there in week 6 of the 2024 college football season, guys. Looking down here, seeing what other matchups to really look forward to in week 6 here. We have another ranked matchup, as it would be the University of Missouri Tigers taking on the Texas A&M Aggies, as Missouri's ranked number 11th in the country and the Texas A&M Aggies are ranked 20th. Man, a lot of good ranked matchups as we are only through to week 7 here right now. Man, I cannot wait to see a lot of good college football here in the 2024 season, guys. And we're looking here in week 7 of the college football season. We got the University of Florida taking on the 15th ranked Tennessee Volunteers. Always a tough matchup there in the SEC. The Mississippi State Bulldogs taking on the number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. And then, the Ohio State Buckeyes, number 2, taking on the Oregon Ducks, ranked number 3. That's going to be a really, really good game. We also got the number 6 ranked Ole Miss Rebels taking on the number 13 ranked LSU Tigers there in week 7, a primetime SEC matchup. We also have the University of Penn State University taking on the University of Southern California USC Trojans, a matchup of both ranked teams, as the Nittany Lions are ranked number 8 in the country, and the Trojans are ranked number 23rd in the country. A really, really good matchup there against ranked foes. Checking further down of what some other things to look forward to here in week 7. We have, the Red River Rivalry will be coming to the SEC, as it will be Texas Longhorns taking on Oklahoma Sooners here in week 7. The first time that rivalry will be taking place there in the SEC. And then we move on to week 8, guys. Just trying to go over all the big primetime matchups for you guys to look forward to. We would see, of course, Oregon taking on Purdue. University of Purdue is always a tough out, it seems like, in that conference. Looking to see if we have any more ranked matchups. You got a good rivalry game with the University of Kentucky taking on the Florida Gators. Always like watching that one. And ooh, guys, we got the Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Texas Longhorns. Woo, the University of Texas is going to get welcomed into the SEC, as they seem to have a tough schedule too early on in the season. And then we see week 8, another good matchup. We will have the Alabama Crimson Tide taking on the University of Tennessee Volunteers. That's going to be another good matchup of ranked teams in the SEC. Hey, and the SEC is stacked this year, guys. It's going to be a crazy, crazy season this year. Trying to really see what is going to pan out is going to be anybody's guess, really, as far as who's going to make the college football playoff. Hey, guys, with there being 12 teams this year, it's going to be crazy. So moving on to week 9 of the 2024 season so far, we would see some other really good matchups here. As we scroll on through, we got another good rivalry matchup on October 26th, as Michigan State Spartans will be taking on the University of Michigan Wolverines. That's always a really, really tough matchup. Navy taking on the University of Notre Dame. Always a good one to watch. We got to get another ranked matchup here, as the University of Alabama takes on the University of Missouri Tigers. Really, really good game there. Another SEC ranked matchup, battle of 2 ranked teams, as the Oklahoma Sooners take on the Ole Miss Rebels. And then we go further down, we got another rivalry week game, as the Florida State Seminoles will be taking on the Miami Hurricanes, a battle of 2 ranked teams. We also see the LSU Tigers taking on the Texas A&M Aggies in week 9. Another matchup there in the SEC of 2 ranked foes. We also see Kansas, the University of Kansas, taking on Kansas State, the Wildcats there. It'll be Jayhawks versus the Wildcats in another rivalry week game here in week 9 of the 2024 NCAA football season. Looking on down, got Georgia Tech versus Virginia Tech. Always a really, really tough matchup there in the ACC. Again, pretty much a rivalry game there to look out for. And what we got, and that'll be it pretty much for week 9. So heading on to week 10, guys, we're going through these pretty quick. Just some of the primetime matchups you guys really need to look forward to and watch, because, man, I will tell you what, it is going to be a really, really fun season to watch this year, guys. So you got the University of Oregon, the Ducks, taking on the Michigan Wolverines, and number 3 in the country versus number 9 in the country. This one's going to be a really, really good matchup. Clemson taking on the University of Louisville. Clemson's got a really, really tough schedule. You got the big rivalry game with the University of Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Florida Gators there in Jacksonville. Always tough. You got Penn State taking on their rival and their foe, Ohio State Buckeyes. A battle of 2 ranked teams there in the Big Ten. And, man, we also got Kentucky versus Tennessee, which is always a really good rivalry week type game when those two face off with each other. University of Vanderbilt taking on the University of Auburn is always a really good one to watch. And looking here, skipping on through the rest of week 10, trying to see what other matchups really to have our eye on, and that should be it there for week 10. Moving on to week 11 of the NCAA 2024 season, looking for the primetime matchups to really, really look forward to here. We're getting to the nitty-gritty here, as the University of Florida will be taking on the Texas Longhorns. That's going to be a tough matchup. And then the Florida State Seminoles are also taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in week 11. Oh, man, that'll be November 9th. That should be a really, really good game and a tough game. We also have the Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Ole Miss Rebels in another battle of ranked teams in the SEC there in week 11. We also have Alabama taking on LSU in another rivalry game there in the SEC, a battle of 2 ranked teams going at one another. And we know these two, there's no love lost in that rivalry with those guys, as that'll be a very, very tough matchup and one to really, really look forward forward to, I think. And that's week 11, guys. Moving on to week 12 and the primetime matchups to see there. Guys, it's going to be such an epic sort of season, seeing these guys really go back and forth, especially with all the new rule changes and everything that they're doing now. Man, I really do think this is going to probably be the most exciting NCAA year ever, really, in college football. So seeing week 12 here, guys, for the most part, trying to see what are going to be some of the big matchups to really look forward to. We're having here scrolling as soon as it wants to load. We're seeing the University of Tennessee taking on the University of Georgia. That's always a tough rivalry game there in the SEC. We'll also see the Utah Utes taking on the Colorado Buffaloes there. Deion Sanders' team and the boys there. Seeing what other matchups to really look forward to here in week 12. And that's pretty much it for week 12, guys. Moving on to week 13. We also see that it's going to be NC State Wolfpack taking on Georgia Tech. That's always a really, really tough matchup there for those two ACC foes. We have the University of Alabama taking on the University of Oklahoma. That should be a really good SEC type battle there. And then we will also see what's going to happen for week 14. And we got Georgia Tech taking on Georgia with some rivalry games. Mississippi State taking on Ole Miss. That should be a really, really good matchup there. No doubt about it. We got Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the USC Trojans. We got Florida versus Florida State in week 14. We got North Carolina State versus North Carolina. We got the University of Louisville versus the University of Kentucky. Whoo! Michigan versus Ohio State. Everyone's always looking forward to that in week 14. The University of Washington taking on Oregon. Texas against Texas A&M. Auburn against Alabama. Whoo! Dang, man. We got Oklahoma against LSU. South Carolina against Clemson. Tennessee against Vanderbilt. Holy crap. Arizona State versus Arizona. Guys, this week 14 is going to be stacked with so many rivalry games. The University of Virginia taking on the University of Virginia Tech. Woo! That's going to be a really, really good matchup there. Well, guys, this has been just a few of the matchups here to look forward to in the college football season in 2024. Please like and subscribe to the Tim Reynolds Show, and thank you guys for hanging out with me, just talking a little ball. I cannot wait to see the college football season coming up, man, and to see what teams can make the college football playoff. Hey, you know, I was going to go through the ranked teams that were just released, guys, in the preseason poll to see which teams that we could predict really could make the college football playoff. But, you know, everything's going to be so unpredictable this year. Let's see how it plays out, guys. We got to leave it to a mystery, right? And we're going to find out all at the end of this 2024 season. So please like and subscribe to the Tim Reynolds Show for more football content. And thank you guys so much for all the support and hanging out with me, just talking a little football here. College football in 2024 is going to be one of the best seasons ever, especially with all the new rule changes, all the new NIL deals, and the big expansion in the college football playoff going to 12 teams this year. And hey, let's not forget, they're going to be expanding probably to 14 teams in a couple of years, or at least discussing it. So let's enjoy this, man, because it's going to keep getting more exciting every single year. Thank you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Peace out, everybody, and enjoy some football.